Well, it was a huge game Sunday the Chiefs had to have, coming back from down 11 twice, including in the fourth quarter with about 9 minutes to play, to beat the Indianapolis Colts 23-20 in overtime. Their first win in a one-score game this year. Their first win against a team that was currently in the playoff picture. This was the first win for the Chiefs against a team that was currently in the playoff picture, and it was their first one-score win of the season. So all is good, right? Kansas City has found their mojo. This is the team that we expected we'd see all season long, playing well against a good opponent and finding a way to win. All is right in Kansas City, right? Maybe? I'm not so sure just yet. I'm not so sure if this game was an indication of just all the issues that the Chiefs still have, yet they somehow found a way to win, or it's an indication that this team is getting their mojo back and they're going to run. Now, why would I say that? Why would you say that after a big win where Jonathan Taylor, likely MVP candidate, was a non-factor against the Kansas City defense, one of their best defensive performances? Sometimes the numbers don't lie. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they tell you a story. So I'm going to read to you, not the box score, but the team stats from the Chiefs' win over the Colts. All right, so just run with me here. The Chiefs had 33 first downs in that win over the Colts. The Colts had 10. The Chiefs ran 91 offensive plays in that game. The Colts ran 50. The Chiefs had almost 500 yards of total offense, 494. The Colts had 255. Almost a 250-yard advantage for Kansas City in this game. The Chiefs held the ball for over 42 minutes. The Colts held it for just over 25. That's almost a 17-minute time of possession advantage. So let's run through those numbers again just so you understand them. The Chiefs had 23 more first downs. The Chiefs had 41 more plays than the Colts. The Chiefs had almost 250 more yards of offense and had a time of possession over or just about 17 minutes. How did this game go to overtime? That is a physical ass whooping right there. Those are the numbers that describe a 28-point blowout win, a 24-point win, a 21-point win. How was this game tied at regulation? And oh, by the way, how is it that the Chiefs were down 11 points with 9 minutes to play in this game with the way they had dominated? Because the little things still continue to be problematic for Kansas City. Now, I'll get into the positives in a minute. But the Chiefs lost the turnover battle 2-0. Kareem Hunt fumbled inside the red zone late in that game in the fourth quarter. That was an issue. The other turnover was Patrick Mahomes' first pass. And look, it was not all interceptions are on the quarterback. This was a great play by the defensive end, Latu. Just picked it up off the air right inside the goal line, which really gifted the Colts their first touchdown in that game. So they lose the turnover battle 2-0. They had 7 penalties in this game. Now, the Colts had 11. And I know what Kansas City Chiefs fans are thinking. One of those penalties was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. They called a face mask on right tackle Juwan Thomas on Travis Kelce's running touchdown. He never grabbed the face mask. It was a terrible call. So for all these people that say Kansas City gets all the calls, that one wiped a touchdown off the board. And oh, by the way, for all the people last year that were saying the Chiefs get all the calls, do you know which team had the most touchdowns taken away by penalty in 2024? It was the Kansas City Chiefs. So just bury the bullshit of that mantra forever. Your feelings are hurt because the Chiefs keep winning. It has nothing to do with the refs. I can go through all the statistical data you want. I did it last year. I just showed it here again. You won't care because you're in your feelings. It has nothing to do with your feelings. It has something to do with reality. So the Chiefs lost the turnover battle. The Chiefs had a bunch of penalties, and they had just little things. Rashee Rice, came up big in the fourth quarter, huge in the fourth quarter, big in the second half, had a bunch of drops in the first half. Patrick Mahomes missed a couple of easy throws on guys. Kelce wide open, and when he was on the run, he overthrew him. a Rashee Rice touchdown pass or a throw in the corner of the end zone, in the left corner of the end zone. If he leads him, that's an easy touchdown. He threw it inside. Rashee had to turn back and get it. I'm telling you, the little things always turn into the big things. So it was a must-win for Kansas City. They had to have it. There's still so much they have to clean up. There's still so much Kansas City has to clean up. Now, let's take a look at the positives. They are still outside the playoff picture, but they have the potential to finish the season on a 7-game winning streak. And if they do that, they're in the postseason because they still got to play the Chargers, they got to play the Texans, they got to play the Broncos. And by the way, the Broncos and Chargers games, division games at home. They also have the Titans in there, the Cowboys, and the Raiders. I think we all know they're going to beat the Raiders. The Raiders are god-awful, horrendous, and that's why they just fired the most expensive offensive coordinator in NFL history in Chip Kelly. We'll have more to say about the Raiders and whom they played a little bit later. So it is all there for Kansas City, but they have got to clean things up. Now, here are the positives for the Chiefs in this situation. They won a game. They won a one-score game. Okay, they came into this season having set the record 17 straight, including postseason. No one had ever done that in NFL history, win 17 straight one-score games. They finally found a way to win a one-score game, their first one of the year. They finally found a way to beat a good team currently in the playoff position. Those are positives. Here are the other positives. They had a 100-yard rusher for the first time in Kareem Hunt this season. They had a 100-yard receiver in Rashee Rice. And Patrick Mahomes threw for a season-high 350-plus yards. These are the positives. But when the Chiefs are clean, they are impossible to stop. I've said this over the last couple of seasons. The only team that can beat the Chiefs is the Chiefs. And we've seen that time in and time out this season. Although I do think Denver is a team that's going to continue to give Kansas City problems because of the way they can dominate the offensive line and the line of scrimmage. Again, Denver, most sacks in the NFL, fewest sacks given up, or right around there, 1 or 2, top 2 and fewest sacks given up. They're legitimately a beast when it comes to controlling the line of scrimmage. And the Chiefs' playoffs hope may come down to that December, Christmas Day, or Christmas night game when they take on the Denver Broncos at Arrowhead. It's all there for Kansas City, but they have to clean up a lot. This was the first step in Week 12 for Kansas City actually looking like Kansas City. They've got to compound on this. They've got to build on this. They've got a short week now where they got to go to Dallas and take on the Cowboys, whom suddenly are a very different football team thanks to the deadline deal that Jerry Jones made, not necessarily for Logan Ryan, the linebacker, but for Quinnen Williams, who's been an absolute beast. Again, we'll get into that a little bit later. The Chiefs' schedule is pretty favorable for them. And I say favorable because the teams that they need to deal with are still in front of them. That's what I mean by that. Look, they got a lot of really good teams in front of them, but if they're going to have a chance to somehow miraculously work their way back into the division or have some tiebreakers go their way when it's all said and done for a wild card, the teams in front of them are the teams that they need to be in front of them. All right? So again, let's take a look at their entire schedule going forward now, starting with the Thanksgiving Day game against the Cowboys. Here's what they've got left. Okay, they got the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. This is where it's critical. They have the Texans at home. They've got the Texans at Arrowhead. They've got the Chargers at home. They've got Denver at home, and they go to the Raiders last game of the season. And also in there, they have the Titans in there. They're at Tennessee. So their only road games left are at Tennessee and at the Raiders. I think we can feel pretty comfortable about those 2 games being wins for Kansas City. But the teams that they need to beat, the teams that they need to show they can be atop of, the teams where they can find a tiebreaker and get ahead of them in some way, shape, or form, are right there, and they're coming to them. And that's the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Texans. And the reason I say tiebreakers is because if we get into a 3-way situation, right, for the division title, if somehow Denver manages to fall apart, although their schedule is very, very less competitive, shall we say, than the Kansas City Chiefs at this point. If you get 3 teams at 12-5 head-to-head is no longer an issue, right? Then it becomes divisional record. Well, the Chiefs still have 3 divisional games left. They have a chance to go 4-2 in the division. And if they go 4-2 in the division, then there's a really good chance, if it's a three-way tie, they have a chance to go in and sneak in yet another AFC West title. They've claimed every one since 2016. And the other thing that they have going for them is 15. And, Patrick has been through a stretch where he hasn't really played very well over the last couple of months. There have been wide receivers or pass-catching options wide open that he just hasn't seen or hasn't felt comfortable throwing the ball for a variety of reasons that I'm not sure why. Obviously, there's been some instability on the line with Josh Simmons, their outstanding left tackle, being back, and Juwan Taylor being a walking penalty. Again, even though it wasn't a penalty this week for Juwan Taylor that took away a touchdown. So there's a little bit of uncertainty there. And Trey Smith, their outstanding interior lineman, the guard, had to leave that game with an ankle. Not sure what his situation, his availability is for the Dallas Cowboys. And that's going to be problematic, especially the way Quinnen Williams is playing. But the teams that they need to be in front of them on their schedule are in front of them on their schedule. And I mentioned Patrick Mahomes. Guys, what we're seeing from him over his career is not normal. It's not usual. It's not every day. Okay, as I said, the Chiefs were down by 11 twice in this game, 14-3 and 20-9 with about 10 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. That was the largest fourth quarter comeback in Patrick Mahomes' history. And here's the stat that absolutely drives home just how you can never count these guys out. With the win Sunday at Arrowhead, Patrick Mahomes as the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. And again, I know what you're going to say, Trey, it says on your Twitter bio, wins are not a quarterback stat. I agree, but the NFL keeps a record of these things, and this is why it's important. With the win Sunday, Patrick Mahomes' record, including postseason, when his team is down by 10 or more points at any point in the game, is 20-18. And you say to yourself, well, so what? I mean, that's 2 games over 500. That's barely a winning streak. The NFL has been keeping this stat since 1950. Here are the total number of quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Again, they started really keeping statistical data in 1950, so we can't go back any farther. That's as far as the records go. So essentially, it's the best we can do. Here's the entire list of quarterbacks who have a winning record when their team trails by 10 or more points at any point in the game. Patrick Mahomes, end list. That's it. No one else is even at 500. No one has a winning record except Patrick Mahomes when his team is down by 10 or more points. And you want to talk about some of the greats of all time. You know what Tom Brady's record is when the Patriots or the Bucks were down by 10 or more, whether in regular or postseason? 36 wins, 55 losses. Let me say that again. 36 and 55. He's almost 20 games under 500 in games in which the Patriots or the Bucks, whether in regular or postseason, were down by as many as 10 or more points. And we've seen Chiefs being led back, being down 24-0 in the postseason a few years ago. That same year in the AFC Championship game, they were down 10 twice to the Tennessee Titans and came away with a win. Super Bowl 54, they were down 20-10 with about 8 minutes to play in that game against San Francisco. Ended up winning that one by double digits, 31-20. So when people say, I'm not throwing dirt on the Chiefs' grave until they are completely dead and buried and have signed off on the DNR, do not resuscitate, this is why. 20-18 when your team is down by 10 or more points. A winning record. Nobody else in the history of the NFL can make that claim. So you can like Joe Burrow better, and that's fine. You can like Josh Allen better. Totally get it. You can say Tom Brady is the GOAT. He probably is, because no one's ever going to get 7. I fully believe that. But there is never been a quarterback better when the shit is stacked against him than that guy, number 15. He did it again on Sunday. He might have saved the Chiefs season. Again, it doesn't matter if they go and lay an egg against the Cowboys, which is extremely possible because suddenly the Cowboys are alive and feeling wonderful. But that guy, the day you count him out before the clock hits triple zeros, you are, quite frankly, an idiot, because nobody is better at this than him. Nobody. 20-18 when the team is down by 10 or more. Brady is almost 20 games under 500 in that same scenario. You may like all these other guys, and they have a lot of things they bring to the table, but finding a way to make chicken salad out of chicken shit when the game has gone horribly wrong for you, there is nobody that is better at that than number 15. And those are just straight facts, homie.